So Waterford 327, Clare 318. Waterford run out 9 point winners over Clare at Park Queeve this evening. A massive win for Waterford that books their place into the final four of the All-Ireland Championship alongside the likes of Limerick, Galway and of course Kilkenny, who they will now meet in the semi-finals next weekend. And yeah, what a shootout it turned out to be. A very entertaining game of hurling. We've definitely been treated to two very, very entertaining games, probably two of the most entertaining games this weekend. You could say maybe some poor defending was on show for both teams today, or you could say some top class finishing was on show from some of the forwards on each team. In the end, Waterford just having a bit too much for Clare. I think Clare ran out of steam, in particular going into the final 20 to 25 minutes of the game. Desi Hutchinson's two early goals proving massive for Waterford. It definitely set the tone. Clare were able to respond. Of course, Aaron Shanahan getting two goals of his own, very in similar fashion to Desi Hutchinson. Both two goals very much one after the other to turn the game on its head. But in the end, Waterford steadied the ship, turned it around, and produced a masterclass of a performance in total that's seen 9 different scores as Waterford booked their place in the final four. And of course, as always, I'm here with my match reaction and my thoughts. So yeah, let's get straight into it. What's the story, everyone? It's Aaron here from GA Fan TV, of course, back again with my match reaction after Waterford have ran out 9-point winners over Clare. Of course, as always, what we'll do is before we dive into all the key talking points, we will talk about the teams that took to the field here. So we'll have a look at the teams on each side of the pitch here. So we'll start with the Clare team. Now, there were some changes to this team, but we'll call out the original team news here. So it was Eibhear Quilligan in goal, Rory Hayes, Conor Cleary and Patrick O'Connor. Then you had Stephen O'Halloran, Aidan McCarthy and Shadna Mori. You then had Jason McCarthy and Tony Kelly in midfield, Cathal Malone, David Reedy, David Fitzgerald, Shane O'Donnell, Colin Guilfoyle and Ryan Taylor. And of course there were some changes to that team. So Jack Brown, David McInerney and Aaron Shanahan came in to replace David Reedy, David Fitzgerald and Colin Guilfoyle. So they were the changes for the Clare team. Moving on to the Waterford team, of course. So Stephen Keefe in goal, Ian Kenny, Conor Prunty and Shane McNulty. It was Calum Lyons, Tyg de Burka and Kevin Moran in the half-back line, Jamie Barron and Jake Dillon in midfield. It was Jack Fagan, Kieran Bennett and Stephen Bennett in the half-forward line, Desi Hutchinson, Austin Gleeson and Jack Prendergast in the full-forward line. And, what a tremendous performance in the end for Waterford. I mean, just a very intense game without doubt. And just looking through some of the scorers on the day, so Stephen Bennett once again leading the charges for Waterford. He hit 10 points in this game, 7 of them from place balls. Fantastic again from Stephen Bennett. He had a fantastic performance in the victory, not in the victory, but in the game versus Limerick. One of the best players on the pitch that day when they lost by 4 points. Desi Hutchinson hitting 2-2. Those 2 early goals, fantastic. He started the game like a steam train and he was unbelievable in those opening 10 minutes and Clare just couldn't get a hold of him. He was winning all the high balls up the pitch and Clare just really didn't get going at all as Desi Hutchinson was able to slot home those 2 goals in the opening 10 minutes. Jack Fagan hit 1-1. What a goal that was, at the end of the first half as well. Again, Desi Hutchinson on the left-hand side, some brilliant, possession play, spotting Jack Fagan, who made the late run, and then he was able to run, a ring, I should say, around Eibhear Quilligan and put the ball in the back of the net. And it was, 1-1 from Jack Fagan, superb. Kieran Bennett as well, hitting some late points late on. You're even looking at players like Conor Gleeson, who came off the bench to score 2 points, Neil Montgomery as well, Patrick Curran, Darragh Lyons. A lot of options coming off the bench for Waterford as well, and that's the first time we've really seen this from Waterford, where they've had a lot of options and they've brought options off the bench that have made a difference to the game. And yeah, Waterford now go into that Kilkenny game for me with a serious chance of winning it. I definitely put them down as a real opportunity, a real team that could beat Kilkenny next weekend. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Waterford showing some of the form that they showed when they reached an All-Ireland final back in 2017. Of course, Austin Gleeson, playing a full forward, which of course isn't his natural position. And, very bright performance again. 2 points, contribute a lot to the play. At times was there, in the forward line, rotating, moving around, making it difficult for Clare to pick him up. And that was significant for Waterford in getting the victory. And you're looking at the opening 10 minutes, and Waterford really started very, very bright in this game. Desi Hutchinson with the first score of the game. Of course, Gleeson's shot originally was saved, and Hutchinson was there to pick up the loose ball and slot it home. And Clare just didn't get going in the opening 10 minutes at all. They weren't able to pick up Hutchinson. They weren't able to pick up Stephen Bennett. And Hutchinson made it 2-0 when, of course, he was able to slot it home as well after some more defensive lapses from Clare. And it was a rip-roaring start. Kieran, Stephen Bennett were hitting points, and Clare were struggling. And then all of a sudden, Tony Kelly had an ankle injury, and you really feared for Clare. You thought maybe that this could be a whitewash in many ways for Waterford when you look at the impact that Tony Kelly has had this season for Clare. And you were looking at Clare and you were thinking, is there going to be someone else that's going to step up? Is there going to be any other players that are going to step up for Clare in this game? Because it was 2-5 to 6 at the first water break for Waterford, and you thought maybe as the game went on, Waterford would pick up more momentum and would extend their lead even more. But up stepped Aaron Shanahan. Superb game for Clare in this game, hitting 2-1 in this match. A goal at the start of the second quarter, along some brilliant play from the likes of Ryan Taylor and David McInerney. Just a really well worked, intricate build-up play goal, and it eventually fell, of course, to Aaron Shanahan, who was able to slot it home. And then, of course, a long ball in, Aaron Shanahan catching it ahead of his man, turning him and slotting it past Stephen O'Keefe, and all of a sudden Clare, they've turned it around. The game is on its head. It's turned around, and the likes of Tony Kelly, he was able to slot home a couple of points from frees. And look, listen, he only got 2 points from playing this game, which by the standards that he set in previous games probably wasn't up to his standards, but clearly he wasn't moving freely. He did have an injury, and look, obviously this is straight knockout at this stage, so if there was another game on the line, or this was round robin, or there was a backdoor or something like that, or this wasn't knockout, maybe Brian Lohan takes Tony Kelly off and he rests him for the next day. But with the fact that this is really all or nothing at this stage, the best decision was probably to leave Tony Kelly out there and know that he will still be able to contribute as well. There were some other bright players for Clare though. Cathal Malone hitting 4 points, Aidan McCarthy with that brilliant goal as well in the second half as well. Really, really well taken goal. And Shane O'Donnell with 2 points as well. Probably didn't get enough though from Clare's forward line in terms of the likes of Shane O'Donnell and Ryan Taylor. They needed to hit a couple more points in this game, with the fact that Tony Kelly was, very much out of the game with that injury. And, you're going into the second half, obviously, and, you are thinking at one stage, are Clare going to be able to turn it around? But Waterford, they controlled the game brilliantly, and they kept driving at Clare, which was causing so many problems. Neil Montgomery was coming off the bench and making a massive impact. Jamie Barron, of course, in midfield, got man of the match in RTE, and probably rightly so. His overlapping runs at times was fantastic. Done a lot of work around the middle of the pitch, winning a lot of ball as well. Capitalising on the loose ball as well, which was fantastic. And it was a very physical game. And even the likes of Tyg de Burka really stepping up at times for Waterford, hitting points as well. That point on the 50th minute that put Waterford 5 up was absolutely superb. And you're going into the final water break, Waterford 3-16 to 2-14 up, and Clare just ran out of steam. I think playing 3 games in a row caught up with them. They ran out of energy. There was a couple of wayward passes. They weren't really playing up to the standards that they had set in previous weeks, and Waterford were comfortable. And even that Aidan McCarthy goal, which, brilliant finish. Of course, Aaron Shanahan again making an impact, catching the long ball, laying it into Aidan McCarthy, and drilled it to the left-hand side of Stephen O'Keefe in goal. And you thought maybe would Clare get a bit of momentum here? Cunningham had a goal chance and Stephen O'Keefe had to make the save. But in the end, Waterford were comfortable. They just kept tricking points over. Their bench, the likes of Patrick Curran and Darragh Lyons, were all chipping points over. Conor Gleeson was getting in on it as well, and Waterford were just keeping the scoreboard ticking, and they were able to in the end kind of see this game out and win it quite comfortably. And yeah, massive for Waterford into the last 4 of the All-Ireland Championship, now playing Kilkenny in the next game. Of course, Waterford and Kilkenny, massive rivals, they are neighbours as well, so that will certainly be a fierce one as always. And yeah, I'd love to personally see Waterford make the final from here and even win the All-Ireland. Will they do it? It's going to be very tough. They are probably going into the final 4 as the least likely to win the All-Ireland in many people's eyes, but I do think they have the better of the draw in playing Kilkenny, in my opinion. But we will obviously have to wait and see when those semi-finals come around, of course, next weekend. And there will be previews coming out during the week as well. So a lot of excitement builds for those semi-finals. But anyway, guys, I am going to go ahead and wrap this up here. Do let me know who your man of the match was down in the comments below. Personally, I'm going to go with Desi Hutchinson. 2-2. Started the game very, very quickly for Waterford. And he started, you know, with a very intense pace, in my opinion, and kept it up throughout the game. Although he only scored 2-2, he was getting blocks in, he was making tackles, and he was just a part of everything good that Waterford done. You know, he was critical as well on Waterford's third goal as well, you know, setting it up for Jack Fagan. So for me, Desi Hutchinson gets man of the match. A tremendous performance from him as Waterford progressed to the last 4 of the All-Ireland Championship. Anyway, lads, my name is Aaron. Do leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notifications bell so you're notified every time I drop a new video. And yeah, of course, I'll have another video out later after Dublin and Meath. Hopefully the Dubs can get a win there, but we'll have to see what happens. Anyway, lads, I'm going to wrap this up here. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll catch you soon.